You are listening to Baltimore Exposed Radio. Do you need exposure? Why not advertise with us here? We have a variety of options to offer you right here at Baltimore Exposed Online Magazine and Radio. To find out these options, all you have to do is send us a quick email asking for a brochure to marketing@bxposd.com or give us a call in our office at 410-585-6060. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Talk Lately Show on Baltimore Exposed Radio. We are here live until 10 o'clock, and we are joined on the phone right now by the candidate of the City Council of the 9th District of Baltimore City, Abigail. Can you make sure I'm saying your last name right? Abigail Breiseth?
Oh, I was just going to say, why don't I just say it for you?
Okay.
Breiseth. You're pretty close.
Breiseth. That's what I had in my head when I, first read it. But I was like, I don't want to say it wrong. How are you tonight? How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I just talked to a whole bunch of voters
okay.
Out on Dukeland Street and Golly Mosier, and just a couple blocks away from where the Welches live, as a matter of fact, and I had some great conversations.
Okay, great. Because there was a little bit of confusion there, right, when we first came on the radio, because you asked for me by my non-personality name, because I go by Monty on the radio, and Carl is my my professional name.
Your civilian name.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so should I just act like I've got you at the door and give you my little spiel, or do you have some questions?
I do have questions, but if you want to give me your spiel, that'll work too.
Okay. Well, let me start just by saying that the way I introduce myself at the doors is to say, my name is Abigail. I'm a teacher. I'm running for city council. I'm running in the 9th District against Pete Welch.
Okay.
And I'm running because after teaching for 20 years, I know that every single issue we have to deal with in this city ends up coming down to education. And I also know that in my classroom, I've been working on all those issues every time a child walks through the door carrying them on their shoulders. And so it seems to me that going downtown and working in City Hall is pretty much working on all the same things I've been working on for 20 years. It is instead of one child at a time, it would be for the whole city at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I also can tell you that when we talk about education, we think of children in schools and little blue chairs. But really, when we're talking about education, that means streets, it means communities, it means rec centers and pools, it means ex-offender reentry, because education does not stop at the schoolhouse door. Education is about people harnessing their power throughout their lives. And frankly, in this city, which has had such a problematic school system for the last 40 years, we have got to invest, not just on the front end with little kids, but we have got to undo some of the damage that was done years over the past 40 years and invest in the adults who need it as well. So that's where the ex-offender reentry comes in, and GED planning classes, and connecting people to jobs and job retraining and internships, as well as parenting classes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm running, because I want to get to work.
I like that plan. Actually, I really like that plan. I was just telling Nicole during that was a couple breaks back, that I wasn't planning on going out to the polls on September 13th because I didn't have I haven't been paying attention. I can honestly say that, because we are in full focus on getting this magazine out and everything like that. So I haven't been really paying attention. But see, that's I let that fall down on me, But as of these primaries are coming around, and I still have time to get caught up because the actual election isn't until November. I just think now that I do need to start paying attention. And your mission just now, even firmed that up, because there is some issues that I think that would affect me, like education, living in this district. That is a big topic, a hot topic for this area.
I've heard so much about people concerned about kids in the street and having nowhere to go, or they're angry about the kids in the street who are being loud and obnoxious and maybe involved in some things that are inappropriate or illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, kids are being recruited into negative stuff all the time. And
Right.
if we as a community want to treat them like the resource that they are instead of as incipient criminals to be managed and squashed, well, then we have got to be recruiting them into more positive activities.
Exactly.
And so, you know, when you feel nervous stepping out on your street, or you feel angry about the kids in the street, that all comes back to how we deal with those young people.
And that's a funny fact right there, because I am one of those people that get angry when I see the kids in the street or playing where cars are. You know what I mean? I get mad because I ask, you know, but then I ask myself, well, why didn't they go to a playground? Well, there isn't one, or there isn't one for miles away.
Or it's overgrown and has broken equipment in it that they can get cut on.
Exactly.
And no place to run.
Exactly. So I think the 9th district is the Southwest Baltimore area, correct?
Well, it's what you would call Southwest Baltimore and also part of West Baltimore. It goes basically from the train tracks that run just south of North Avenue to the train tracks that run north of Carroll Park.
Okay. That would be my area.
Jogs up at Cary Street over to Pratt.
Okay.
And then on the west, the boundary is the Hilton Parkway. And on the east, it's Fremont Street, which runs sort of along MLK.
Yes. That would be my area then, because I'm right down here off of Pratt and Cary Street.
That's why I called you.
Yep. And it's so funny, too, right? Someone else had called from your office and wanted to talk to me. And I was like, oh, well, you know, Abigail's going to be on the show tonight, so I think I want to hold my questions and everything. Because when the first person called me, it was a high school student that was working in your office, and she was asking me questions. We actually had a long conversation, and I was like, because I want to know. But, you know, it's so close to the primaries, I want to know, but I want to, you know, and she gave me your phone number, and I said, okay, my grandmother wrote it down. Here's the funny part of the story. I'm riding in the car with my grandmother, and we got the phone on speakerphone. Grandma, write the phone number down. She writes the phone numbers down, but she only wrote 6 numbers.
Oh.
All right, thanks a lot, Grandma.
Well, you know, I've got people out there leaving flyers all over the place, and I'm out there leaving flyers all over the place, and those flyers have my phone number on them.
But, you know, I've learned recently that everybody is completely blind to flyers now. And until you talk to somebody, to that specific person that you think is going to be your candidate of choice, you really don't have you really don't have that election in mindset. Like it's flyers everywhere. Catherine Pugh, Otis, Raleigh, it's stuff everywhere. I am blind to all of that now. I don't even see billboards and stuff because
the active voters, the sort of experienced voters, they all have a little stack right by the door, so when they bring in the mail, they can take the political flyers and they can put them all together, and then the whole family sits down and everybody goes through all of them and discusses what they think and who they talk to and what they saw.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And see, I've never done it that way.
That's what I'm providing. I'm all about education.
And that's what I've grown into, because I wanted to try to figure out a way for myself to be more educated on these issues, because you know, instead of just voting Democrat because I'm a Democrat, instead of voting Republican because I'm a Republican, you know, I want to be able to know what the issues are or what somebody is bringing to the table before I cast my vote.
Well, sure, and
because I think it's irresponsible.
There are 9 different people running.
Right, I think it's irresponsible. I think it's irresponsible just to put my hand in Democrat or my hand in Republican, and the Democrat could be totally against what I'm about. I just don't think
it's... In a primary election like this, you only are choosing among Democrats.
Right.
And so you have to really be informed about all the candidates, which is why so few people vote in these primary elections. And in a Baltimore City municipal election, we're all Democrats.
Right.
And so whoever wins the Democratic primary in September is going to walk away with it in November. The November election does not matter in a city-only election like this, what this one is. Only the September election matters. So if you care about who is the mayor, if you care about who's your city council person, you have got to turn out and vote on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you drove that home to me, because then I will go out. I'm actually going to try to. I'm trying to get out early because I know I'm not going. I want to be able to be on the radio and talk about the poll results and on that Tuesday or whenever. What is September the 13th? That's Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday. Yep.
I want to be able to talk about the poll results then.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that all works myself. This is my first time going through it, so I don't even know if it's going to be on TV, if we're going to be hanging around all the polling stations waiting for the final tallies, but I don't know how it's going to be broadcast publicly.
Now, I know what you want to do, right? Because you just explained it to us, but I'm trying to, I want to get a clear picture of what we are voting for as far as what the city council does. Because that's where it breaks down too. Because when a regular Joe goes into a ballot booth or box and they're picking these people, I can tell you from my own experience, I look for the top component, which would be the mayor, choose my mayor, and then the rest of them I just say Democrat. But you actually have to go down the list and pick the people that you want to. And it's silly of me to say is that I always pick the women down the list.
Oh, I'm glad to hear
so
that.
Abigail, you would win. Because I was like, I'm always like, give a woman a chance. Give a woman a chance. It's always a man.
Well, and you know what? In this particular case, this seat that I'm running for is a very historic women's seat.
Okay.
Because it was the first seat that was ever won by a woman in an election in Baltimore City Council history. Every other woman who was ever on the city council, and there's only a handful of them, they were all appointed because their husbands died or their fathers died or something like that. But this was the first time a woman ran a race, and she won. And it just so happens that she was a teacher, too.
Oh.
So that has a lot of meaning to me.
That's
her
very
name was
impressive.
Victorine Q. Adams, and you may have heard about her. She was a civil rights pioneer, and her husband, Little Willie Adams, just died a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
He was in his 90s.
I think I read something earlier today when I was doing a little bit of research on that. Can't find it anymore. Nope. Okay.
So your question is really about the power the city council has?
Right. What is the power the city council has?
Well, I like to say at the doors, I'm not running for God. I'm not even running for mayor.
Right.
There is a lot that city council cannot do. So the power of the city council, I think, lies in two things. Number one, they can pass legislation. Of course, if they pass legislation, it all depends on the mayor approving it. So if she doesn't like it, it's not gonna fly. It's very difficult to get enough people on city council to vote for a bill that the mayor disapproves of, and override her veto.
Okay.
Because Baltimore City has a strong mayor system of government, so the mayor always has more cards than the city council does.
So it's similar to how we would look at the presidency and the Congress.
Well, no, the Congress has more power.
Okay.
In relation to the president.
Okay.
The Baltimore City mayor has more control over what happens with budgets and programs than the council does.
Okay.
So the other thing that the city council can do, it seems to me, is to organize. There's a third thing that is the main thing that city council does, which is constituent services. And so, you have a tree down in the road in front of your house, you call your city council person, they call the city agencies to try to deal with it. Or in the olden days, you needed a job, you call your city council person. That happens less and less now.
Okay.
But
so when I need a job, I'll be calling Abigail.
So that's service. But that's not so much power, that's service. So the other power of the city council is in being connected to the community. And I like to say our district, the 9th district in particular, with the lowest life expectancy and the highest poverty and the highest rate of returning ex-offenders, needs what a teacher does every single day. They need somebody who's going to understand what's going on. They need somebody who's going to inspire, like I do with my kids in my classroom. I get right up their noses and I say, what is going on with you? What kind of person do you want to be? And then it needs somebody who's going to go downtown and advocate.
Okay.
So we need someone to understand and inspire and advocate. And the organizing part of that is key because that has not happened in the 9th district for a long, long time, and it's like a sleeping giant.
I'm great. I like this. There's a lot of education here. So let me ask this question too, because this is like a from living down here, it's like a thumb or a sore item for me, and I want to know if this would be something that would be a responsibility of yours, and that's all these condemned. Well, it's happening all over the city, but the condemned houses,
and especially in the 9th District.
Yeah, especially here. There's 3 of them behind my house, so I know firsthand. And the house that's behind, I just want to know if this is something that I would bring to you as the winning, the winning candidate. That there's a pile of trash that's like a molehill out back in one of the abandoned houses' backyards that just people just keep throwing another bag on top. And when the trash people come, they don't mess with it because it looks like disease.
Right.
Is that something that I would call you and bring to your attention, and then you would facilitate?
Sure.
Okay. I'm glad I got that question answered, because I need to know.
Established processes, you call 311.
Okay.
And then 311 gives you a number, and supposedly they call it into the agency that deals with it, and it's solid waste, and then they come and take it. The reality is that 311 is not working very well right now. The hours have been cut, and they don't carry through on whether a ticket has been filled or not. And so I'm hearing in communities all over the place about how calls into 311 are just not working.
I actually have to say, though, with that respect, every time I've called 311, and I've called recently because we had brown water down here.
Oh, yeah.
They came through. The water's not brown anymore.
I'm so glad to hear that.
I have to give 311 their props. I mean, every time I called them to say the recycling wasn't picked up, they sent somebody out the next day, and he came and picked the recycling up. So I would give them their props on that part. At least they handle my stuff. I don't think they want to deal with my mouth. In all seriousness. Because I like to talk to supervisors.
Yeah. But if the trash trucks don't come and clear up the dumped stuff, then yeah.
Right.
After your 311 calls go unanswered, then you would call your city council person to start throwing their weight around and checking up on the agencies to make sure that they're all doing their jobs and get it dealt with.
You know what? Another thing I wanted to ask you and possibly get your opinion on is the reduction of trash days. How, in your recollection and in my own seeing, how did they think this was going to reduce trash?
Are you a fan of recycling?
I recycle every week. But I still put out the same amount of trash bags, as I did when I've been recycling while I had the same amount of trash. I mean, I have the same amount of trash as recycling.
Huh. That's weird.
It's still 2 bags, and I think it looks horrible because, the rat issue has gone down, but it's not gone. And when those bags get open out there by the rats, the trash people are not taking them.
Well, you know what? I will say 2 things. Number one, I think that the whole idea behind the change in schedule is that lots of people are putting recyclable materials into their trash. So if they start separating it out, it's still the same volume of stuff. And so we still have 2 pickup days.
Right.
The one is for the dirty, smelly stuff, and one is for the recyclable stuff.
Right.
However, and I'm a huge fan of recycling.
And so am I.
However, people live a lot of the time, especially in our districts, in tiny little row houses with no backyard and no place to store trash outside.
Exactly.
And if you have kids in the house or you're having a crab feast,
exactly,
and you're keeping that stuff inside the house for an entire week, and things really start to go wrong.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The crabs.
That's definitely a problem.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And a lot of people in my strip of the block, we do have the fortunate space for a backyard, but the people that live across the street from me, they don't. The only thing they can do is take their trash to the corner on trash day. But see, what they have been doing lately is sticking it out front because they don't have a backyard. So the only place they can do is stick it out front by the tree, and then, now we're bringing the rats down on the street. Which is really, horrible for us because We don't have. I think it'd probably be better if we even had a dumpster in our area, in our neighborhood, that we could just take the trash to the corner and put it in the dumpster. I mean, I'm open to doing that, although we do have a lot of lazy people down here. But I'm open to do that. I'll carry my trash to the dumpster. I lived in Baltimore County. That's all we had the option for.
One of the things that is a problem with trash in Baltimore is that the city has hardly any street side trash cans.
Right.
So you go to the Holland's Market, there are no trash cans on the corner. People go in there and they get lunch and all those disgusting takeout containers, all that plastic and styrofoam, and then there's nowhere to put them.
Right.
And so, people are lazy. People are trained in the city to see trash in the street all the time. They don't even think about it, which again gets back to education. But when you don't even have a can on the street and somebody's carrying something that for whatever reason they don't want to carry, and maybe it's a good reason, maybe it's a bad reason, but it doesn't matter. You need to provide them with the opportunity to deal with it in a safe and healthy way, and that is a trash can. So I think that's one immediate thing to do, is to get some funding to have some street trash cans, and especially around on public corridors, like Perry Street and like around the market. Right.
Yeah, because it makes me think about going around asking all our neighbors to possibly pool a fund together to actually get a dumpster. I mean, we have a whole lot that's across the street over here where a house had got torn down and they want to make it into a garden. Fine and dandy, but that garden is going to be full of Pepsi bottles eventually. Because if it's not going to be maintained, it's no point. We could use that lot, cover it in, put some cement down, put a dumpster there. Trash truck can easily bring. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was like, the trash truck can easily put the arms in there, lift the trash can out, and then go in about its business, and don't have to worry about having all those people on the back of the truck.
Yep.
I know, that would be a reduction in jobs, but it's still trash and stink. I'd rather have it stink in one space.
Basic services that it is supposed to take care of, and trash is one of those really fundamental basic services.
Right.
I think we fundamentally have mixed up priorities when we can fund fancy stuff and nice stuff and downtown fun stuff, but we can't fund just the basic things that keep rats out of houses.
Right.
I mean, when we can't keep our pools open,
and that would be a nightmare for me.
We can talk about a $13 million Ferris wheel in the Inner Harbor.
Right.
Well, our priorities are wrong.
Yeah.
When we can talk about a $100 million jail for children, but we can't talk about raising the money so that we can actually drink the water in our schools.
Okay.
Well, our priorities are wrong. So that's why I'm running, is because I want to shift the conversation on that.
Great.
And help develop some new priorities for the city.
Well, I think I've made a decision.
I'm delighted to hear it.
I know.
Thank you, Marty, for having me.
I thank you very much for joining us tonight. I've made my decision, everybody. Abigail Breiseth. I said it right?
You did.
I said it right, Nicole. Thank you.
I thought it was Breiseth.
No, that's what I said at first, Breiseth. And it's Breiseth.
That's right. It's Breiseth. Well, I'm delighted to have met you over the phone, Marty.
We have to meet in person. We definitely do.
You'll shout and say hi.
Yes. Please let me know when you're out and about in the community and we can meet in person one day.
Okay, that would be great.
Thank you very much for joining us on Talk Lately. Have a nice night.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
you. You have a good night, too. Thank you very much for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, everybody, we're going to take a break real quick, but that was great. I love that. That was really good. She actually did have some topics that, coincide with what I think is needed for the city. And I'm glad I had a chance to get my position on this trash issue. This is a thorn for me. I don't like having this trash can in my house. I liked it when it was 2 days. I knew it was coming on Tuesday and I knew it was coming on Friday. That I could take that trash, have a little Walmart bag, which is what I know they hated because they, it should be recyclable. But I could take my little tiny Walmart bag because my trash can right now isn't full. And it's now, trash went out Wednesday. Trash day isn't until next Wednesday. But my trash can's not full. But believe by Sunday, it's going to be full and stinking. But that has to stay in here. Because I don't want rats out back. Bring rats, they start to gnaw through the baseboards of your house. Then under your house. Then that lets the damn water bugs in, and then I have to move. Because I don't do bugs. It's 9 o'clock power hour, y'all, and I'm just getting started. It's Friday, damn it. Who do I have on my list for tonight? Oh, Jay Punk ass. You know what? Do I want to dedicate a whole entire break to Sanity Goddamn Girls?
We will.
You better not call here either. Look, I want the trash day back. I mean, you still got 6 and 7 people on the back of them damn dump trucks anyway, so I don't know where the reduction in cost is coming in at. And I think the dumpster idea is a good idea. You know that space right there between Advanced Auto Parts on the corner right there? Who even goes to that auto place?
It's not there anymore.
On the corner? Yes, it is.
Where?
Right here on the corner right here.
Oh, okay.
Of Ramsey and Curry Street.
Oh, yeah.
Who goes there? I would dare go there and get no oil change, and they probably don't even have no thing to pump my tires up. So what do they got in there to lift my car up? It's nothing but a junkyard to me.
Time for a break.
And the empty space that's in between it is a good space to just put some cement down. Ain't nothing but there but overgrown vegetation. They can put some cement down right there and put a trash can right there, a dumpster. We could pull that here, the neighborhood right here, because these people on this side of the street are the ones that need it. To be honest. Because they don't have no backyard.
Right.
We're going to go to break. I love it here. We'll be right back. You are listening to Baltimore Exposed Radio.